Well, hello there. It's Dr. Jim. Thank you for stopping by. This episode is a very happy topic for me. It's something that I have studied for quite a while. As a gerontologist, I'm concerned about longevity, living long. And if we're going to live long, we might as well be healthy and happy. So this episode is called Optimism and Longevity. So, as a gerontologist, I've always researched and looked for elements and qualities in life that would promote healthy aging and living a long and fulfilling life. And what I have found is that we shouldn't rely on fad diets. We don't need to really engage in these 5-minute insanity workouts. They're not going to make you live any longer. The very things that most of us take for granted, we don't even think about, are indeed the most important things when it comes to longevity. Not these fad, fly-by-night, flash-in-the-pan ideas, live longer, live healthier by working out insanely for 5 minutes. Or eating some type of crazy diet that you can't get beyond a week with because it's horrible, right? Those are things that it's very difficult for us to keep those in our daily regimens for very long. We just can't do it for the most part. Many studies showing that being a positive, optimistic individual may actually lengthen our life expectancy. I firmly believe that this is the case, by the way. So let's look at optimism and living long. Not only have studies shown that people who are optimistic live longer, but they suffer from fewer illnesses and fewer diseases. You know, and I know, that stress kills. It's probably the 5th, 6th, 7th leading cause of death in the United States among older adults. So stress bounces back and forth between the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, so on and so forth, leading cause of death among adults. If being optimistic reduces or better manages stress in our lives, then it makes sense that we would reach older ages and possibly in better physical and emotional health. Wouldn't you agree? Stress increases the risk of health problems as well as poor mental health. I've read studies that individuals who are even diagnosed with clinical depression, if they're optimistic, they're not as depressed, their depression is not as severe, and they have lengths of periods in their lives where they're not depressed. So even if we're dealing with anxiety, depression, so on and so forth, being optimistic is still key. It's still important. Stress is also associated with premature death. So, and negativity. Pessimism, stress, they're all very terrible things for us. So, anything we can do to minimize and manage stress in our lives would seem to help us age and do so well and with good health, both physically and emotionally. So, some experts say that optimistic people, this is very specific, are likely to reach exceptional longevity, which means 85 years of age and older. How about that? So what's the connection? I could go on and on about this. There are many reasons in research that have been found which connect a long life to optimism. Here are just a few key ingredients to add to your daily diet. Optimistic people experience less stress because they let things go. That is so incredibly important. Let it go. Don't dwell on things over and over again, because if you dwell and you dwell and you dwell, that's actually called rumination. You ruminate, if only this occurred, if only I did that, if only it would have been different. Well, you can't go in a time machine and go in the past and change anything. You're kind of wasting your time. Some people ruminate, they wish they could change the past, if only things turned out differently, but we can't do it. Rumination is wasted energy, and not only that, rumination can actually become clinical depression. Not good. Optimistic people feel like they own their lives. They feel like they're in control much more than pessimistic people. If we make a mistake, we own it and we move on. Lesson learned. That's all I have about optimism and longevity. I hope this has inspired you a little bit to shed the stress, shed the pessimism, and be more optimistic. You might live longer and you might be happier. I'm Dr. Jim. See you soon.